Kavan, and I have lupus. Living with lupus is not easy because the disease is unpredictable. The mood swings are unbearable. Moving from anger to anxiety to depression to feeling ashamed, not liking the butterfly rash. It is not cute. It's not form-fitting. You can't match it with your clothes. Y'all know me. I'm lighthearted when it comes to certain issues that's personal to me. Because it's either that or me being an emotional wreck, crying. I was diagnosed around 2021. I'm 31 now, make it 9 to 10 years that I've been battling this disease. In the beginning, it almost had me beat because I didn't know what it was. I just knew I was getting tired of sleeping 14, 15 hours when I was off from work. I didn't want to do anything. My body was hurting me to the point where when I came through the door, I would lay down on the couch because I could not make it another step. It was my aunt who told me to go to the doctor. And God bless her heart for that because it was the best decision I did because I learned that it was lupus. But what I had not learned was the stress of my job was causing the flare-ups to come more frequently, more urgently. The exact same thing that was pushing me was destroying me. I was going through something on the inside and it made me stronger on the outside. And with the disease, with the more complications that came up, I began to be an even better chef. Now remember, I was at P.F. Chang's, and I lasted to be the only black cook on the line. They were speaking in Chinese, and I was speaking my own language. But we were getting the job done. I have my picture in the paper. I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of my accomplishments. Out of my career, 8 to 10 managers came of me. Out of my career, I worked fast food to fine dining. I had it going for me. In 2008, I began to face the reality that I could not keep working. I was the head of a kitchen, and there were days where I would be off into another room, puking my guts up, with my head held down, trying to keep as much fluids inside of me as possible, and waiting for that dinner rush to come in to give all my strength to that dinner rush. I like to thank Red Bull for keeping me going from 2008 to 2011. You were my greatest supporter. But everything hurts. And the only thing in my mind was, I need to get up and cook. Because once I get my shot of espresso, I'm ready to go. I didn't want to seek any more doctors for them to tell me anything else other than what I've already learned. From the websites, from people who know people who have it, who had it, who died from it. It was scary. I was in self-denial, so I kept going. Later in the year of 2008, I had good insurance. And I decided that my baggage of 14 years of being abused was getting too much. I thought that was the reason why my lupus was triggering too much. And I began to learn to understand those two things go hand in hand, mental health and lupus. Because lupus can cause mood swings from anger to anxiety to agoraphobia to depression to so much. I was ADHD. My doctor pronounced me with complex PTS. And for me, I knew that I was going downhill when I'm getting paid buku bucks. And it's hard for me to keep up with the other chefs. It used to be the other way around. Those chefs can't keep up with me. And they tried me in different positions. And I was angry on the inside because I was unable to do the job, even the simple ones. My family attributed to, oh, well, it's all in your head. You psych yourself out. You use your self-esteem. Yeah, I know the butterfly rash wasn't pretty. I took steps to make it look nice. I found a little foundation that was the color of my skin, and I would try to cover it up, and the water resistant one, and I'm sitting here like, okay, but I couldn't remember the dishes. What ingredients went in when and where and all of that stuff, and I couldn't remember where the plates was and when I was supposed to get my plate, and I forgot to twirl this, and so it created a downhill. So I knew being at the top wasn't for me anymore. And my push, being stubborn as Jezreel is, you know me, I instructed my doctor to keep my routine as close as possible to me being functional at work. And she did her best. And I ended up losing that top tier job because I couldn't do it. Not even bussing tables. I couldn't do it. The prep, I couldn't do it. At first I wanted to be angry with the manager, but she could see that everything was overwhelming me. Everything was making me angry. And I would just come in those mornings and forget to do this and forget to do that. And I just didn't have the energy to get this done. And other days I had more energy and I could be ripping and running between the line and the front of the house and, doing everything. Now this company shall not be named because I sued them. And we call it, if they want to call it a draw, they can call it a draw, but I won. And it wasn't about money. But I worked this particular job and it was easy, it was simple, it was something I could do. And I would step up my level to make sure they had enough product. I was a prep cook. And I made sure they had enough product during dinner. So that the next guy that came in wasn't sure I had enough product for the next day, so we wouldn't be working hard. But these young boys decided that because I was doing the work, there was no need for them to work at all. And I saw myself producing 2 and 3 times the product that they were doing, and their jobs were easy. They was getting a free check. Now, you know, with Jazrael Kavan, I don't believe in free checks, and I don't believe in being taken advantage of. So I spoke to the manager, and the manager claimed it would be fixed, but it would get worse and worse. And they would look at me and be like, well, it got to get done. So I pulled my main boss aside, and I told her what was going on with me and my lupus and how I could not handle this, and this wasn't what I signed up for, and you promised me a raise, and you promised me that I'll move up in the rankings, and you would put me online, and it will cut down some of the frustration, me being online, and we agreed to it, and she didn't keep her end of the bargain, so I decided that I would go ahead and start implementing the doomsday operation. And my doomsday operation is this, and as this follows. I'm going to go above your head. Not only am I going above your head, I'm going above their head. All at the same time. So when I began my frontal assault, she tried to fire me, but didn't realize that I had already filed my actions with the EEOC, so she could not fire me. So she came up with a strategy that if she yell at me, swear at me, pull me into the office and try to degrade me, that it will break me. It added more to the case. So she tried to fire me again. Didn't work. Then she tried to say that I was selling my medication or giving my medication away. She claimed it was one employee, and when that one employee came in, she couldn't tell you the color of the pill or what the pill was. So then she said I had to lock my medicine inside the office, and I needed to get a manager when I needed to get it. Then the manager proceeds to catch an attitude every time it was time for me to take my medicine. That's your call. I take medicine all day, every day, following your guidelines. So I rolled out to her the new initial plan to be able to cut through the tension and solve the problem. I pieced it together myself in arrangement with my doctor. It called for very simple steps of me taking 15-minute breaks every now and then, being able to call a social support, whether it was my sister or my legal caretaker or, you know, the hospital or the crisis line, to be able to be calmed down at times when I felt overwhelmed and stressed, to have the time to be able to eat something and drink something and take my medication so that I can have my BlackBerry on me at all times so I can be answer calls that were important and urgent to my care, and for me to be able to reach out to my caretakers, which didn't cost the company a cent. She rejected that plan and began to proceed to talk to her bosses, and by then her bosses had already learned that I had already had a letter drafted with these things on the letterhead. And he was so dumb that he drafted me a letterhead asking me to prove that I was disabled, which is against the law for those who don't know the law. You can either perceive me as disabled or label me disabled at all, because you cannot make a medical determination on your own as an entity, as a boss, as any company. So they proceeded to intimidate me by using the bigger staff members than me, leaking out a conversation that was private between corporate and management. She changed the prep items. I usually do about 20, 25 different things for prep. She brought it down to 4, trying to be funny. By all means, I cut my hand. She wanted me to go to the emergency room to try to see if I'm using any kind of illicit drug or alcohol. But it's by the employee's discretion whether they need to seek medical attention or not the manager. She got on corporate to call corporate right away to figure out if she had me. She had to turn me loose. She didn't have me. So she kept the staff from speaking to me. She ordered them not to speak to me. She had one that was convicted of a felony to basically threaten me, and another one to threaten me because I caught the bus to and from work. So the threat was they were supposed to get up all in my face at the bus stop and threaten me. Now, as much as many people wanted me to stand up to them, I was done. I was done. Now, had I let these employees do anything to me out of the way, I would have been fully able to tear down that structure. But me being me, pretty boy JC, wasn't going to allow nobody to put their hands on me to prove no point. You put hands on me, I'm going to jail as the weapon. I don't care how sick I am. You ain't grow up in the neighborhoods I grew up in, because we'll roll up here by the dozens for a scratch, let alone somebody putting their hands on me. So instead of causing a major conflict, I walked out of my job. And one of the managers came running out the door asking me, what can they do to fix this? I said, I've already tried, explained, walked you through. Now you have people threatening me. The problem will be solved. And as I laid out before the EEOC my complaint, the evidence, the steps that were taken carefully, the letter that I was received to make me describe my disability, the head of the EEOC proceeded to weigh in. At that point, they began to have their lawyers harass me to the point where every phone call I received was from their lawyer. And I held out for a while until alliances that was formed with me and my caretaker began to fall apart because I had become weaker by trying to fight without a lawyer, because I'm smarter than any lawyer. I know the law inside and out. Gotta remember, I used to manage, so I knew the law inside and out. I knew that anyone in high school under the age of 18 must go home before the sun goes down. I knew the law. I knew there was no monetary time for you to take a break unless you are disabled by the state of Virginia. But my friend, my caretaker, who was younger than I was, and I appointed him because he was younger, I thought he would be able to be by my side and execute the things I needed executed. He chose not to. So I came up with another strategic plan, because you always got to have a backup plan with Lupus. And towards the end, he had hired me into his job. But the stress of standing up on my knees caused me to prep my stuff early. And I guess I was rubbing some people the wrong way, because I was dishing it out. I would clean up. I was doing what I thought they wanted me to do. Not to stay stagnant and stand in one position, but to be doing something in the kitchen. I'm used to doing something. Cleaning the walls and cleaning the bathroom and scrubbing down this and scrubbing down that and doing the walk-ins and all that stuff. When I'm downtime, I can hear my tickets being rung up, so I know when I'm needed. You didn't have to call me. I knew. And when we got busy, I did my job. But by me being a chef before at the top restaurants, the chef there became intimidated and decided that he wanted me gone. And I knew it the week before. He decided to even move that direction. Because what most people don't know about me is, I not only read the signs of the times, but I read lips. Something that I picked up when I used to have ear infections and couldn't hear nobody wrong. I dabbled in sign language, but I didn't like it. It's, this, that, and moving the hands, that's too much work for me. But reading lips, I was an expert at. So I knew what he was planning to do about me. I was a threat. I was a threat because my former employee was now my boss. I did what he told me to do. Was that not good enough? I did what each and every manager told me to do. Was that not good enough? Until one day I had a breakdown. And I'm sitting in the middle of this forest with a gallon of iced tea, just sitting there with my phone off, on vibrating. Now I saw all the flurries of phone calls because nobody knew where I was or what was going on. I was dating at the time, and she couldn't get through, and she kept worrying about me. And just before it was time for me to come in, well, I had a talk with my caretaker saying that I didn't know whether I was coming or not. And I was talking to him, and I guess he said something to his boss, and so his boss automatically assumed that I wasn't coming in, and I decided I was going to go ahead and go to work, and I was on my way. Get there and got 15 minutes to spare, and 2 minutes around the corner, and he calls and tells me I'm fired for not calling in, saying I wasn't coming. And I said clearly, I never said I wasn't coming. Well, you told your caretaker. That's what I told my caretaker, not my boss. Got it mixed up. I was a threat to him. I was a threat to a lot of people in Virginia. My own family. They called me saying I thought I had the God complex, the answer to everything, that I was trying to prove that I was smarter than everybody. You watch BET. I watch CNN. Who do you think gonna win? They'll beat me on what Kanye West was wearing on the BET Awards, but I guarantee you don't know about the speech that Obama gave. You don't know about the laws that were just passed about your wages. You don't know anything about what I study. We friends and family, but I don't go on your domain and try to make you look stupid in the things that you like. Don't try to make me look stupid in the things that I like. And once again, I had those people, if you ever need anything, let me know. And as soon as you call them, they can't do nothing about nothing. They can't help you. So my time as being a leader of a family was over. Officially, I stepped down. Officially, I shut down. Wasn't calling anybody. Wasn't taking calls. It was okay with me. And now that I am in the heartland, we got once again the little ones pretending that they know what they're doing like they big bodies. And now they're learning that what I did wasn't easy. Now they're learning how I did what I did wasn't easy. That I actually had to sit down and formulate a plan within myself of how I would govern my time and what I would give my time and how I was going to move ahead and make changes in my life. Well, loyalty was no longer an obligation to my friends. It would become a privilege. That I had to decrease the stress when I arrived in the heartland. They said I was docile, like calm than I used to be. I was to be. That's because the last 2 years, well, the last 4 years, I encountered something within myself. I was killing myself by trying to help everybody. The hero complex version of me could no longer stand. I couldn't keep up with my NSJT stuff. Couldn't keep up with my work. I couldn't keep up with my writing. I couldn't keep up producing videos. I couldn't keep up being a sole photographer of my own ventures. I couldn't do it all. So when I got here, I just needed some rest. They were ready for me to hit the ground running, but they realized that I was a fragile version of what they knew of me. Was one of the reasons why I stopped doing in-person visitations. Everybody wondered where I was at and what I was doing, but I stopped doing house-to-house calls. I stopped doing the ringing the phone and see if you alive type thing, or listening to the drama and then coming up to you giving you the best advice. Because living with lupus has taught me that I have to center myself and do one thing at a time. Because if not, my body will go in chaos. Which is like what I'm going through right now. I'm going through one of the flare-ups like when I was 20, 21. Because I have too much on my plate that I can't accomplish the things I need to accomplish. And every person I put in a position to help me act like they're children and they're not professionals. So I have to let them go. Because if I got to do it by myself, trust and believe, I am going to do it by myself. You're not going to like my response. My wrath is bigger than my bite. My bark is like a little teeny dog's bark. But my bite is like a Doberman pincher. But my wrath is like a hurricane. So that's my experience living with lupus, is I always got to stay ahead of what's going on. I decided for the first time that I wanted to live on my own. Everyone kept telling me I can't do it, but it is too much for me. But I bit off a little bit more than I can chew, but I'm a grown man, and I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to make this work, and I've been making it work for the last 6 to 8 months. I have been doing it, and doing it very well, up until about months ago. That's when the lupus fog started rolling in, where you can't remember what is what and who is who and simple things. And I got problems with my memory now that I've never had before. But I remember conversations, I remember bits and pieces of things, and people try to challenge me on my memory skills, but precision, I still remember conversations. And I know that's that PTSD where I hold on, and the ADHD and it cycles around in my brain until I bring it to a conclusion I wanted it to. It's like somebody just put a sign on me on Facebook and expect me to take it and lie down. I don't know who you threatening, but your secrets can be revealed. The things I know about you can be revealed. Don't tell me you chasing after some little girl and you lying and cheating to get your way with this girl who don't know nothing about you, and she's so dumb she can't even see it. He cheated on her and she still wants him. Once that happened, hey, that's out of my warehouse. I no longer have anything to say. That shows me the integrity of the woman that you are. And like, remember you said this to me? No, I can replay the whole conversation from the beginning to the end. And I gave her a snippet and she ain't never hit me up again. Don't call me no liar. I've been sitting at the head of the table for far too long for anybody to call me a liar. I've been through fire and brimstone, hell south, to get to where I am now. Don't call me no liar. So what you about to find out, you not gonna like. Not got nothing to do with it. And sold your seed between the weeds. But with lupus, it's crazy. Because sometimes you feel like you on some kind of psychedelic stuff, you on acid or something. Because when that fog grows in, everything goes to hell. Even the eternal clock. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning thinking 6 o'clock in the evening. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the afternoon thinking 6 o'clock in the morning. I swore this morning that it was 8 o'clock at night. And then I had to start trying to figure out what I need to do to get ready for the day. And what time the cab is going to show up. My transportation to get me where I need to go. And along the whole, my day was just starting. So I brushed it off and drank a cup of coffee. And in the back of my head, there's still something I feel like I'm forgetting, but I don't know what it is. So me with Lupus and my mind not being able to keep up with stuff is so well. Because the notebooks, they tell me to put my notes in, I forget them. The charts, they tell me to keep up, I forget to write on them. My calendar on my computer that I'm supposed to log in every doctor's appointment. So you had to do that. But I managed to dress and clothe myself and clean myself. I managed to make it to my appointments early. I managed to barely take my medication on time. These are small victories. I got a fish tank with fish that's still alive, which means I'm doing something right. I got plants. Now, I was killing them off before, but now they're alive, thriving. I'm enjoying seeing them grow. And I'm trying to figure out what's going to be my hobby next, what I'm going to do next, to transform everything into something amazing. I like designing stuff. And my house ain't complete yet, so I know I'm going to sign up for another lease because I don't see me doing all this work I've been doing lately and then have to pull all this stuff down and go somewhere else. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet. And I got to pay extra, but the Lord will know, and He'll tell me what to do, and I'll do it. For those who trying to figure out, that just found out they had lupus and trying to figure out what to do, I'm here to tell you what to do. Stop worrying. Take a step at a time. Decrease your stress level. Begin to delegate those people in your lives as much of you as you can. Make sure they're dependable and they're not gonna not do what you ask them to do. Make sure you have an advance directive, whether you want them to keep you on the plug or off the plug, or how they what to do with the funeral and all that stuff. Get that out the way so that you would no longer think about dying. While you think about dying, what you gotta do and it's done. So that the rest of the time can be peaceful. You ain't got a hobby, find a hobby. Like writing, write poetry. Post it on Facebook or make YouTube videos. I love YouTube videos. I make my own. I'm still learning the whole video process. I spend so much money, I need to get a deluxe package where I can actually do some pretty cool artifacts and stuff. But that's down the road, but I make do with what I got. My days when I don't feel good, Netflix is it. It's $8 a month, $20-some to get the DVDs in the mail, so you're looking at like about $30. I love Netflix because new shows pop up, shows I haven't get a chance to see because I used to work so much. I can go back and flick through that and watch it, and there's no commercials. You can't beat $8 a month if you just hit that plan. You be surprised what's on Netflix. You can curl up and just go through the shows. So if you get tired, you fall asleep, it's okay. You can pick it up later. I know they say eat healthy, but I say enjoy the life that you have. some ice cream, some pudding. Bunny's got some nice fat-free, sugar-free ice cream. It is the bomb. I had to bite the bullet and do what the doctor told me. I had to get the cholesterol down. I've gotten it down, so I am trying to eat a little bit healthier. So I'm starting to do my salads, my fruit. But always have a snack on hand, whether it's some hard candy or something. Had it on hand while you laying by the bedside, because some of your pills are going to be nasty. And you ain't got no water. You forget. I'm telling you, you're going to be popping pills in your mouth. You're going to forget, and it's going to bite you. It's going to be the nastiest thing you ever had going on in your life. Drink as much water as you can. Stay away from the sodas. If you drink a soda, it should be 2 cups of water per soda. And if you can't do that, then you can't have no soda. If you can't trust yourself, don't have it. Because you're going to have problems with your kidneys and you're not going to like it. I'm having problems with my eyes right now. And I'm not liking it. Trust me, I had a procedure I got to do. I'm going to be praying for the Lord that He make sure it does not hurt, because if it hurt, somebody coming up missing. Make sure you keep up with your appointments. Make sure you make the appointments you need to. Make sure you tell your dentist that you have lupus, because then they're going to give you amoxicillin before you even can be treated, and it's 4 hours before. Don't forget that. Be upfront. Which one of your main medications for lupus will cause eyesight damage. Make sure that you're getting your eyes checked every 6 months to make sure that your sight is still being managed properly. Make sure that you are talking with the care manager with your insurance. They're not there for nothing, but they're a sounding board and help you when you don't have the support alone to help you. When it's too hard to look it up and understand it, they can tell it to you better. They can tell you what you can and cannot have. If they reject you with a procedure, make sure you follow through and call your case manager at the insurance company. So there's something called the peer review, where the doctor and their doctor get together and have a conversation about that procedure, that technique. Don't take no for an answer. Get a second opinion. I got 2 neurologists. I got 2 back doctors. I got 2 eye doctors. I don't go for one opinion. I want everybody to weigh in and make sure that all these people you sign the waivers for them to work as a team. Right now, our mental health team and our medical team are not always synced together, but I'm getting them to that point where they're all together. So make sure you get that done. Make sure you get some popcorn when you're watching your movies on Netflix. Make sure you take a day to yourself just to rest, and people know that you're resting. Stay encouraged. And if anybody else gonna encourage you, I encourage you right now on Spreaker. Every single day I can, I will send you a prayer. So tune in to my show. I'll give you some old techniques and things that you can do to make it happen. And if you're on income and they giving you food stamps, you're trying to figure out how to feed yourself on the amount they give you, email me at JazraelHavan29@gmail.com. Hit me up. Facebook me. It's Jazrael Havan. Look for me, and I will show you how to make it work. Because there is ways to make sure that you have food in your house to the very last day. There are shortcuts to meals for you when you can't stand up all the way or bend down all the way. When you don't have the strength to slave over a stove and make yourself a hot meal, But you need to eat because you got to take your medication. You let me know. I'm here for you. This is me living with lupus.